here we are with thousands of acres and billions of dollars every year. It's the same thing every year. And they don't want to clean up their forests because they have environmental problems in cleaning it up. It should be the opposite, because you're going to lose your forests. You're losing them. But it's costing our country hundreds of billions of dollars because of incompetence in California. So the people, I'm speaking now for the people of California, they don't want to see this happen. They're getting destroyed. And it's hurting our budgets. It's hurting our country.
What, if any, concern is there about animosity from the incoming Trump administration toward California and its efforts to fight this fire? And that's Mayor Bass. That's directly to you.
Actually, I'm not worried about that. I mean, I joined in the invitation to the incoming president to come to Los Angeles. I joined with the supervisor and the governor, spoke directly with the incoming administration yesterday. It was a fine call, so I'm not concerned about that.
So apparently now they want Trump to come and help them. That's right. After years of demonizing him and constantly blaming him for politicizing this crisis, all of a sudden the Democrats in both LA and Greater California are begging Donald Trump to come visit them, help them, rescue them, and save them. That is right. Every single time I think I'm done making a video about the total chaos, civil war, and drama going on in the California Democrat Party, something new comes up, because today we're going to really focus on the local leadership in Los Angeles. This is more so going to be about Karen Bass than Gavin Newsom, just an FYI, because in a previous video, we covered how the mayor of LA, and her fire chief are in like a public civil war over this idea of cutting the funding, right? Whether or not Karen Bass's budget cuts to the LA Fire Department are causing the current disaster that you're seeing.
News we brought you at the top of the hour. There was a meeting behind closed doors a short time ago between the mayor of Los Angeles, Karen Bass, and the LA fire chief, Kristin Crowley. The two have been publicly contradicting each other on whether or not budget cuts had hindered the LA Fire Department's ability to respond to these wildfires that are burning tonight. Chief Crowley had been blunt, including in an interview on CNN here earlier, saying that her warnings about those budget cuts and how they were affecting her department had been ignored. But the mayor's office is denying an online report tonight that she had fired Crowley, her office telling CNN, quote, "This is false."
So I bring all of that up to contextualize this current situation. By the way, folks, if you're enjoying the content, make sure you hit that like button down below and subscribe if you are new. You subscribing is the #1 way to ensure we can keep bringing you this coverage. So if you're appreciating the videos we're doing, please, it's totally free. Hit that red button down below. And again, the reason I bring all of this up is because we need to understand and remember sort of where we are in the timeline on this whole situation, because this is where the Democrats started. First, they were saying everything is fine. There's no issues with fire hydrants. Our fire department is working great. Everyone who's saying otherwise is spreading misinformation, as Gavin Newsom infamously said in that call with the White House. So first they say everything is fine. Then they proceeded to blame Trump. They said that Trump was politicizing this crisis and he needs to stay out of it. And then when that wasn't working and the criticism just grew of Democrat leadership, they started to blame each other, right? And we've covered that. I encourage you to go watch our previous videos, because it was like Gavin Newsom was blaming the local Democrats, the LA fire chief was blaming the mayor of LA, Karen Bass, and it's just a total civil war. Everyone's pointing fingers. It's like watching a bunch of children argue with each other. And then finally, after blaming each other and blaming Trump and saying everything was fine, we are now at stage #4, where they're now begging Trump for help, right? Please, Mr. Trump, come and save us. Because again, we can't even make this up. As of yesterday night, the chair of the Los Angeles County Board has called on Trump to visit the fire-ravaged areas in a personal letter. And of course, knowing the way that these Democrats have talked about Trump for the past several years, and even throughout this crisis, I mean, take a look at Gavin Newsom, the wording and the phraseology of this letter that they're begging Trump for help in will strike you. So here it is. The Honorable Donald J. Trump, to dear Mr. President-elect, in my role as chair of the Los Angeles County Board of Supervisors, the people of LA County extend our formal invitation for you to come again to Los Los Angeles County and jointly tour the areas of devastation caused by this week's disasters. By accepting this invitation, Mr. President-elect, you will join us in supporting our citizenry and thanking our heroic first responders who have risked their own lives to save others. We also ask that you, as our president, to stand with the people of LA County as we set our course to rebuild. Your presence would be deeply felt and appreciated, right? So again, they want Trump to come and help. They want Trump to come and save them. This probably has something to do with the fact that they know they're going to need massive amounts of bailout money from the federal government. Trump is going to be overseeing that bailout. And so this is what it's all about. But now it was confirmed just today that apparently Trump will indeed be coming to visit Los Angeles, and the LA mayor, Karen Bass, apparently just had a meeting with Trump over the phone. And yes, Trump is coming to LA.
What, if any, concern is there about animosity from the incoming Trump administration toward California and its efforts to fight this fire? And that's Mayor Bass. That's directly to you.
Actually, I'm not worried about that. I mean, I joined in the invitation to the incoming president to come to Los Angeles. I joined with the supervisor and the governor, spoke directly with the incoming administration yesterday. It was a fine call, so I'm not concerned about that. There are also, as I mentioned before, a number of my former colleagues who are up for confirmation, and I feel like I will have good relations there.
Is the incoming president expected to come here?
I believe so. I mean, I certainly, it was a positive response yesterday.
Yeah, you know, I will say, knowing what I know, and I represent Altadena, which is probably the most diverse community that in the 5th District, this is the exact constituency that he was talking to. You've got socioeconomics from all walks of life, and they are suffering. So I am confident that this president will come.
Well, my conversation also yesterday was throwing around possible points of timing. No.
Okay. And then
So there's a lot of things, honestly, I think we need to break down about that video because, first and foremost, you can still see, right? We covered the time when Karen Bass was being approached by that reporter and she just froze, like she literally didn't say anything. But even in this video right here, you can see how incompetent she is just like as a human being. They asked her this question and she's like, oh, wait, that's for me? Wobbles to the stage. Yeah, so, and then of course you have that lady from, I guess, Altadena who, the first thing she wants to point out about her city that has been ravaged by these fires is that it's diverse, right? It's the most diverse community in California. So just a lot of ridiculousness. You can just see like the state of leadership in Los Angeles. It's not exactly great, but let's also not miss the greater point. LA Mayor Karen Bass wanted to join in, right? She also invited Trump alongside the Board of Supervisors to come and visit. And she even went so far as to ask, because of course the reporters are trying to politicize it. They're like, don't you think Trump is going to have animosity towards you because you're a Democrat? She literally says, no, I didn't get that sense at all. It was totally fine. And again, please, Mr. Trump, come and save us. We love you. You're so amazing. We definitely did not call you racist and fascist and the H word and all these other names, right? So, that's a situation we are dealing with. Gavin Newsom earlier in the week also did invite Trump to come to California, although he really did seem to be doing so out of political clout chasing. I would argue the circumstances of that invitation were a little bit different, but nonetheless, I digress. I think the greater point is what? Why do the Democrats suddenly believe that they need Trump's help? Well, because again, after realizing they totally screwed up here, California is going to need a pretty serious amount of aid and basically a bailout from the federal government. I don't know the exact toll of the damage, but I would guess it's several billions, if not even perhaps like trillions of dollars. We're going to find out by the end of this. And they know, oh, Mr. Trump, we need you to give us federal funding. Now, Biden has already promised, right? He's going to give all the assistance we we need. But now that Trump is coming in, maybe they're worried in a sense that their blank check will not just come and the aid is going to be much more conditional than that. To which I say this, okay, so should Trump as president help California, give them the necessary aid that they need? Absolutely, right? Californians are Americans. It doesn't matter what political party they voted for. This is our job. Like, it's a disaster. Even our differences with the state of California, it's not the residents' fault necessarily. So obviously that's true. However, I will say this, right? Unlike Joe Biden, I do not think we should just be writing California a blank check to basically do whatever they want. Because if it goes anything like I grew up in California. I know this exact story. Like, supposedly the plan to fight the homelessness or to build the light rail. Remember that? They were going to build a train from LA to San Francisco and that never happened. What's going to happen if we just give California a bunch of money and don't ask any questions is this money is just going to be funneled to nonprofits and NGOs. It's going to be essentially laundered. It's going to go nowhere. And then trillions of dollars later, you still will not have a state that is rebuilt.
Do you expect, though, that Congress and Republicans will still help these Americans in need, even if they don't like their local politics and the party?
I expect that there will be strings attached to money that is ultimately approved, and it has to do with being ready the next time, because this was a gross failure this time.
As a matter of fact, I would advocate that for the most part. I don't think direct money should be given to California and we say to that, oh, do whatever you want because they're just going to waste it. I would say maybe give it to FEMA, right? Send FEMA in and say, okay, the federal government's going to handle the rebuilding of your state because Gavin Newsom, you literally cannot be trusted to do it yourself. So Trump's going to oversee that. We're going to make sure you're actually rebuilding the state, number one. But here are another couple issues of, I think, conditionality we should be placing on this California bailout is, number one, it cannot be allowed to happen again. Right? We've talked about this before, but Gavin Newsom, he refused to rake the forest. He refuses to do controlled burns. He refuses to do anything about clearing out the brush in his forests that are causing these wildfires due to ridiculous environmental regulation. That needs to stop day one. Gavin Newsom, California, if you want a bailout, you need to be serious and show us that you're going to take preventative measures to ensure that these wildfires stop happening to the scale that they are. Because as we've explained before, these fires are not just happening by accident. Very interesting. I grew up in California, never once saw a controlled burn in my life. The first year I moved here to Florida, I was driving around the Ocala National Forest. You know what I saw? A controlled burn. I literally texted my dad about it. I was like, I've never seen this in California. Why is that? It's because of nonsense environmental regulation, right? They think it's going to mess with the insect population or something like that. We don't want to mess with the forest. Oh yeah, well, that's why you keep getting these fires. Okay, number one. So we have to tell them that's going to stop day one. And the second demand I would make of these California Democrats is that you have to actually manage water resources correctly in your state. This is very interesting. We keep hearing that California is in this drought. And of course, you know what the environmental activists are saying is causing that drought. However, I would once again point out, and I didn't actually know this, to be clear, okay? I moved out of California before this started happening, but in 2023, California had record rainfall. Okay, you see here from the New York Times, the past 12 months in California were among the wettest ever. LA Times, way above normal rains, could set an all-time record in LA. And in 2023, San Francisco got roughly 34 inches of rain. So not only did California see record rainfall in recent history in 2023, but so did the LA area. Okay. So let's stop this myth. Let's stop this narrative that California actually has a genuine issue of a shortage of water. They're getting rainfall, okay? They did not back when I was, in high school, but now they're starting to get rainfall, especially 2023, one of the wettest years in record. So you may be asking, why do they now have a water shortage? Where is that water all going? Well, this is from an article of Fox News, and this is an expert on the issue. He points to environmental extremists in the state who have pushed for heavier regulations like the Endangered Species Act, which requires fresh water to flow through rivers and into the Pacific Ocean to protect the endangered Delta smelt and salmon. So we've brought this up before. They are letting fresh water that the people of California need, obviously, as you can see, it's literally on fire, flow into the ocean because of stupid and ridiculous environmental ideology. The mandates restrict how much water can be diverted to storage, even during wet years. There is plenty of water, Ring argues, but the primary challenge in transporting water south to the farmers in San Joaquin Valley and cities in Southern California is not infrastructure capacity, it's environmental policies. He points to a, quote, consensus among bureaucrats and board of directors overseeing California's management that prioritizes keeping more water in rivers to support the endangered fish. That's true as far as it goes, he said, but despite these efforts, the salmon and smelt populations have not even recovered. So not only are they doing this nonsense to save the fish, it's not even working. All this crap has to stop. You manage, environmental policies in regards to forest management or water should primarily be directed to benefit the quality of life of people. Okay, this is what the environmentalists get wrong and the conservationists get right. Environmental policy is not meant to worship nature or put animals or trees over people. No, you try to keep the animals and trees healthy, but for a purpose that actually benefits human beings, benefits the ordinary life of people. So this is all to say, okay, why am I bringing this up? Why am I going on this tangent? Because I say if California wants aid, we need a guarantee this is not going to happen again. And in order to guarantee that, the incompetent policies, yes, of Gavin Newsom, of these California bureaucrats and regulations, they have to all be gone. And if they don't want to do that, have fun rebuilding your own state.
Here we are with thousands of acres and billions of dollars every year. It's the same thing every year. And they don't want to clean up their forests because they have environmental problems in cleaning it up. It should be the opposite, because you're going to lose your forests. You're losing them. But it's costing our country hundreds of billions of dollars because of incompetence in California. So the people, I'm speaking now for the people of California, they don't want to see this happen. They're getting destroyed. And it's hurting our budgets. It's hurting our country. And they just better get their act together.
And that might seem extreme, but I'm sorry. This cannot keep happening. You cannot keep making federal taxpayers bail you out because of stupid decisions. Okay, we've explained this, right? This is not something that blindsided California. It absolutely is something you could have seen coming. So that's what I would say, all right? So this is the situation we have. They're begging Trump for help because they want the bailout. That's my response, right? Look. Obviously, we have to help out our American citizens, okay? And it's not the fault of the residents, so we're going to go in and help. But number one, the federal government should not just be writing a blank check to California because they're just going to take it and do nothing with it. Go do the relief yourself as much as you can if you have to. And to the extent that you can't, again, make sure California gives you a guarantee this type of stuff's not going to happen again. But with that said, guys, let me know your thoughts on all of this in the comment section down below. Be sure to leave a like on this video, subscribe if you are new, and until next time, God bless and peace.